Hello everyone, I am Shaden from Next Gen Kenpo, and I thought it would be a fun idea to see if Chat GPT or AI can be used to create a Kenpo technique for attacks and scenarios that we do not already have techniques for. So, we're just gonna have some fun today, and potentially after this, I could go to the studio and try to demonstrate some of these, based on what Chat GPT gives me, and interweave that, edit it in, just to see if it works. So this is going to be really fun. The first attack I want to go with that traditional Kenpo does not cover is some category completion for attacks against a wall, because we have the technique Taming the Mace that you might have seen in my YouTube shorts. That is a punch against a wall, but I don't find that to be a realistic wall scenario, because more likely someone's trying to pin you and punch you against the wall, or pin you and stab you, or pin you with their forearm. So I'm gonna ask ChatGPT, can you create a Kenpo technique that defends against a left hand push against a wall and a right knife thrust to the stomach? Okay, so I transferred everything that ChatGPT gave us into a Google Doc so we can try to alter it and make it better as we go along, because AI is not perfect. You know, neither am I, so I've been trying to attack this problem for a while, but what I find difficult is trying to tackle the knife problem while also having one of their hands and both of their legs free. Because obviously the knife is the biggest threat, and if you only use one hand to defend that knife, there's a chance that they're just going to overpower you and stab you anyway. So ideally you want to get both hands on that knife. But then that doesn't leave much open, so my theory is that if I can turn around quickly and throw them against the wall while controlling both their arms, throw them against the wall with my elbow. That's my theory. Let's see what ChatGPT has. But let's come up with a better name for this technique. So, wall deflection and stomach strike. So we have Taming the Mace. Let's just call it Taming the Lance. Begin in a relaxed but alert Kenpo stance with your feet shoulder-width apart and your knees slightly bent. Your left side should be facing the wall. I don't know if I agree with this. I think ideally you'd want to start in a passive position, maybe hands up, because maybe they'll go easy on you, show you mercy if you clearly don't want to fight. But then when they get to you, you want to be able to either step back or step forward so that one side is against the wall to cancel out your width and make you a harder target. So, begin at a right neutral bow. As the attacker pushes with their left hand, use your left hand to execute a left inward block, redirecting the force away from you. Simultaneously step with your right foot back, slightly to the right, pivoting your hips to face the wall. This movement should shift your body to the right. Oh, it wants me in this strike, but now the knife is coming towards my left hip. The next step is called right palm heel strike. After redirecting the left push, immediately transition into a right palm heel strike to the attacker's chin or nose. Your left hand up in a defensive guard position against any further attacks from your left hand. Okay. Step 4, knife defense. So, the time it takes to do a left inward block and a right palm heel, the knife hasn't come in yet. So it's like a push and then a stab. So you go boom, boom. And then your left hand is going back down to defend the knife, I'm guessing. Okay, so we're using the outside of our forearm to block the knife. That's good. While maintaining your left forearm as a barrier, use your right hand to deliver a powerful palm-up strike to the attacker's elbow or wrist, attempting to disarm them by disrupting their grip on the knife. As you execute the counterattack, pivot on your left foot and simultaneously deliver a right knee to the attacker's groin. This should incapacitate the attacker further and create distance between you and the threat. I tried to keep the technique ChatGPT gave me as much as I could, but I had to modify some slight things here and there. One problem I found with this technique was that the left hand is generally going to push you in your right shoulder, which forces your left shoulder forwards. So that makes it hard to step back into a left neutral bow when your right shoulder is wanting to go back. The technique wanted me to grab the wrist to pop the elbow, but also parry the knife with my left hand at the same time. But if I do the parry, my left hand's going to be below their wrist, and I'm going to have to do extra movements to get to that wrist. So I took out the parry and just grabbed the wrist right away. If you're looking for a rating of how good this technique is and how well Chat GPT did, I'll give this a 3 out of 10. Because for reference, this took 8 tries to film. So realistically, this is not your best choice at all. Can you make a Kenpo technique against Bruce Lee's ? Kick? Step 1, ready stance. Begin in a proper Kenpo stance. It starts all of them like that. 2, anticipate the kick. As soon as you see Bruce Lee initiate the ? Kick, keep a close eye on his movements. Try to anticipate the direction in which the kick will change. Step 3, raise your guard. As Bruce Lee's kick starts to change direction, raise your lead arm, the arm on the same side as your lead leg, to form a high horizontal block. Position your forearm across your face, protecting your head and neck. So this, okay, so the ? Kick goes around and down, so it wants us to do an upward block to guard it as it comes down towards our head. Use your raised forearm to intercept the block. Keep your other hand ready to defend. Counterattack. Immediately after blocking the kick, execute a counterattack. You have several options here depending on your skill level and comfort with Kenpo techniques. Strike to the groin or midsection with your free hand. So we'll go block, punch, execute a swift knee strike. So we'll go punch, knee, follow up with a low kick to the leg. When we tried this technique, we found unexpected results because it actually worked way too well. For someone who isn't as fast as Bruce Lee, putting your leg up there is a huge risk because it leaves your base unbalanced. When we were testing this technique, not only did I elbow Kin's shin with my block, but I also accidentally fully kicked out their knee, which made them lose balance and fall. I would rate this technique a 7 out of 10. It's not perfect. I think the knee can be taken out for time reasons, because you gotta get that kick to the standing leg done before they land from their kick, and that can be really tricky if they're quick. Can you create a Kenpo technique that utilizes catching the punch in the defense? Okay, I incorporated this because in the Kenpo, in the book, Ed Parker's Kenpo Fundamentals, the Basics, it is written by Leo Lacerte that a type of blocking is catching, but we don't learn it because it's such an advanced thing to do, and it's very difficult to do it consistently, that no one should ever suggest catching a punch. But we're going to do that today because I like breaking the rules. Kenpo punch, catch, and counter. We're going to call this one catching mace. It just makes sense. So, begin in your Kenpo ready stance. As your opponent initiates a punch, let's assume a straight punch with their lead hand. Anticipate the attack by keeping a close eye on their movements. As the punch comes towards you, use your rear hand to catch the punch by moving your hand to the inside of the opponent's wrist. After catching the punch, use your other hand to simultaneously guide your opponent's punching arm across their body to create an angle of off-balancing them. Your opponent's arm should now be bent at an awkward angle. With your opponent's arm controlled and off-balance, you have several counterattack options. So as a right punch comes in, we're going to be in a right neutral bow. We're going to block with our left hand. We're going to parry, control the wrist, and pull them across. This one I also modified mostly because I didn't reread the instructions before we actually tried to do it. So it's a little bit different, but it works. It probably works better because I modified it a bit, and also because Chat GPT wouldn't let me do an actual catch for the punch. Rather, it described a parry and then grabbing the wrist. The idea was that I wanted to catch the punch, like, in front of the punch. Like, I want them to punch my hand and me catch their punch. But, I guess that's not allowed for robots. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.